I want to move on to the Gordie Howe Bridge. We talked about that a lot the last time you were here. You're from Michigan. You were very optimistic about a deal, and we've got one.
And you know what? We were right.
You were right, and the things you talked about getting done were get done. But there's been a lot of questions from Canadian media and Canadians in general about what the terms of the deal are. I'd just like to outline what we've reported to give you a chance to respond to that. Canada will get 100% of the revenues from the bridge, pay for the maintenance costs. Then after that, it's split 50-50 between Canada and the U.S. The U.S. money goes into that regional economic fund. Is that your understanding of the financial terms of the new deal?
That is my understanding in terms of what the Canadians have and the Canadian government have explained to the to Canadian media and Canadian citizens. Yes.
Can you explain what your understanding of it is?
I don't think they're. I'll say one thing. I'm going to get into the details. I think it's for the it's a responsibility of the Canadian government to do that with the Canadian citizens. What I can tell you is that in terms of the agreement, it appears that there is no distance between us and the Canadian government. We have a deal. We understand what's in it. We believe that the Canadians have agreed to what's in it, and so we have. There's no distance between us and the Canadian government.
One of the big questions is debt servicing. Is that included? Does Canada get to service the debt before the Americans get any money?
I think that's a question for your government to answer and not me.
I'll ask you one more question about this because we talked a lot about it the last time. One of the things that we've heard is that the Americans will have a veto on an increase of tolls by 10% or more, and that they have to stay within comparable rates, including with the Ambassador Bridge. Is that another one of the terms?
I think, like I said, if I've not talked about the other stuff, this is the job of the Canadian government to inform the Canadian media of
but you're a party to the deal, though.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I mean, this was negotiated with, Howard Lutnick, myself, Mark Wiseman, and Dominic. Okay, the four of us were frequently on the phone together. Talking about what was in the agreement, what was not. Am I a party of it? Yes. Do I know what I believe that we have agreed to, that the president signed off on? Yes.
One thing the Prime Minister has seemed to be...
You said you were going to ask your last question.
No, I didn't say that.
Or maybe just one more question on the bridge.
We've got a couple more, if that's all right.
Yeah.
One thing the Prime Minister has been, he seemed to be a bit dismissive about the amount of money that the American government would get. For 6 to 7 years, there won't be any money to split. Are there any projections on how much money the U.S. could potentially receive from the bridge? And do you feel like there will actually be revenue going into this fund over that 15-year period?
Since the Canadians, I think what we did establish is that the Canadians financed the bridge, didn't pay for the bridge, but they financed the bridge. I think that would be a great answer for the Canadian government to address with you in terms of what they expect the revenues to be and what they expect the payback to be for the loans that they have advanced to pay for the bridge.
Here's what I know you can definitely answer. I think there's a lot of Canadians who are once bitten, twice shy. There was a deal before. The bridge was supposed to open in June. That got pushed off. Now it's supposed to open on July 27th. Is the bridge going to open on July 27th?
I don't know who the deal was.
Well, the original deal.
Well, no, the deal that said the bridge was going to open a month ago.
There was a ribbon cutting ceremony. You know that was all prepared and planned.
I have no idea whoever made that agreement. I can tell you that I found out about that agreement. Howard Lutnick found out about that agreement. The president found out about that agreement. We all found out the same way. We found out about it in the media. That was not an agreement that the three of us were aware of and signed off on. So I believe the people, whoever made that agreement, are not a party to this agreement to open it on July 27. And we'll have a ceremony on July 24. I expect that with the people who made that agreement, that it will open on the 27th, and there will be an event on July 24.
I look forward to that. A couple quick questions on trade issues. F-35s, I know that's been a big issue for you. Do you have any updates on that, and when can Canada expect to get any new F-35s?
I believe the first F-35 is scheduled to be delivered to Canadians on October 14th. So unless there's any production delays or whatever, I expect to be in Dallas-Fort Worth with Canadians to accept that first F-35 in October.
So just one, is that just to be clear, one F-35 at that time?
I think one that day.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's one the next day and another one the next day, but the first one will be, my understanding is the first one will be delivered October 14th.
Jameson Greer, he's come out and said about the Online Streaming Act, I'm glad they did it, getting rid of it, or at least pausing those things, but they don't get credit for doing something bad and then undoing it. Does that not make it hard to be able to negotiate with the administration when there are things that you bring up, rightly or wrongly in the Canadian view, that you have issues with, but then when they get removed, Canada's not supposed to get credit for? How can you actually have a negotiation if the things you want removed don't actually get credit in the Canadian perspective?
Well, some of these things happen, after we've started negotiations, and they do something bad, and it's kind of like, okay, we'd like you to remove that. You just put that out there. We would like that removed. That's our negotiating position. We have a way of negotiating. Canadians have a way of negotiating. At the end of the day, once we figure out how we're going to negotiate together, we will get to a deal. Have
the negotiations improved at all? Are there timelines for talks? Anything changed from the last time we spoke 2 weeks ago?
No. Okay. I mean, I hear that there are discussions going, regular phone calls or whatever, but it's not like, next week, I just talked to USTR the last couple of days. Jameson Greer is expected to be in Mexico this coming week. He will, we're expecting that during one of the outcomes of that, there'll be progress on a number of issues, and they will also announce the next couple of series of meetings scheduled for August. So that will then make 5 meetings that will have been scheduled and completed before the end of August, getting into the detailed nitty-gritty of what it takes to get to an agreement.
And you're at what stage with the Canadians in your estimation? We're at a super high level, we're not even there, where are we at?
Well, we have no meetings scheduled at that kind of level with the Canadians in the foreseeable future. Could that break? Could it happen? Yes. But right now they're not scheduled.
Ambassador, I've got a lot more questions, but I don't want to take up more of your time. We really appreciate you coming in today. Thank you.
Yeah, good seeing you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.